So just for people who queued up in a line not knowing what session this is and have never heard about live channels or Android TV at all. So what is Android TV? It's basically it's a global TV platform running on pure Android. And actually, let me clarify that a little bit. It is just Android. We extended the Android framework to support TV to be a first-class citizen. This is not a bolt-on top of Android or some hacky stuff to make it work on the big screen. The core Android framework team extended Android to make TV a first-class citizen. That's important because all the Android developer tools you know from developing mobile apps, developing tablet apps, maybe developing Wear apps, they all apply to Android TV as well. It's the same SDK, it's the same development environment, it's all the same. It's just Android. And then if you build an app on Android TV, you will have it on smart TVs. You can see in our sandbox, for example, there are Sony smart TVs with Android TV built in, and we announced on Wednesday a bunch of other partners. These apps run on pay TV set-top boxes. We have a bunch of partners internationally, pay TV operators, cable, satellite, who run their set-top box on Android TV. But also streaming boxes, gaming consoles, for example, the NVIDIA Shield, very popular device. You build your app once, and it will run on all of these devices. And what does it actually mean? Why should you even interact with that? When we launched Android TV 1.5 years ago, we introduced something called the TV Input Framework as part of the Android SDK. And the TV Input Framework, or short TIF, brings traditional TV functionality to the Android TV platform. So it allows you to interact with things like HDMI inputs, if your device has them. It allows you to deal with stuff like over-the-air channels, channels in general, building a program guide out of metadata, recording, all these things you know from any traditional TV device or your DVR are there in a framework that you can use as an app developer. And to show you a little bit how that looks like, because that sounds very abstract, we do a quick demo.
Journey. Speaking of storms that were in Texas, those are tracking east, moving through parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and parts of Georgia and Alabama for today. Also Florida.
So we're actually running this. This is a standard retail Android TV device. This is actually an NVIDIA Shield.
For those vicinities, as well as strong winds. I do want to mention as well, there's high wind warnings.
You can see here, this is
just parts of California,
regular live TV as you would know it. It's a program guide with metadata, posters.
Places like Las Vegas with some strong winds as well.
Typical TV content.
A lot of dust blowing, some crosswinds too.
But the content actually in this case comes from applications. So apps are actually providing these live feeds. You see, Play Movies has a trailer channel now where you can watch the latest trailers in an endless channel and jump, if you think it's interesting, it jumps to, you can jump into the Play Movies app to rent the movie. There are examples here, Bloomberg, the Weather Channel, bringing content in a nice linear format to your device. And it doesn't matter which device it is, if it's an OTT device like this, if it's a smart TV, it works everywhere. But what if you actually have these channels and think, well, I like this thing with channels and just doing channel up, channel down, the traditional EPG guide, the program guide, where all my content is. But I would like to have more content. It's just the ones I have, that's not enough. Let's see what else there is. And so within the TV application, you can select Get More Channels, and you see a selection of apps that provide channels into your TV guide. And so I just select, oh wait, I know Haystack, they provide a bunch of interesting channels, so let's see what they are providing here. So I just very easily, like I would do with any application, I can select the app and install it.
30,000 National Guardsmen were busy rescuing stranded residents by boat
the TV app already notifies me, hey, there's a new content source.
40,000 homes had no running water, and nearly 30,000 had no electricity.
Here you see all the sources, and in this demo case, it's just
more than 400,000 South Carolina homes were under a boil water advisory. That advisory was still in effect for a month later for some areas.
Or it could be any kind
of
number
one,
provider.
an estimated 11 trillion
gallons. We have just installed,
and
you see, oh wow, 10 new channels are added.
And number one, an estimated 11 trillion gallons of water drenched the region during this historic flood.
Showing up here, and you can tune to them, and the experience is still very much like a
Welcome to the Bumble, I'm Sherry Landry. The Cleveland Cavaliers stomped the Toronto Raptors 108-89 in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals to take a 2-game lead in the series Thursday night. The Cavs remain undefeated in the playoffs with 10 straight wins, becoming only the 4th team in NBA history to start
Going back to the slides. One thing I want to clarify is we talk a lot about live content or linear content when we talk about a channel. That does not necessarily mean that this content is actually live. As you saw some of the examples that I just showed, it might actually be, if you have content as an app developer, as a content provider, that is on-demand content, but you think it might actually make sense to curate that into a channel. For example, you have a lot of music videos and you want to create the country music channel or something like that. For whatever reason you would do that. You can curate that and provide that as a channel from your app into the TV guide. And so live content can be live, but it can also be curated content just put together into a linear stream. Both of these concepts are interesting for consumers. So who can benefit from that? On the one hand, I already mentioned the TV input framework, and the concept of live channels is very much designed for hardware manufacturers. So OEMs can actually integrate physical tuners, like satellite tuners, cable tuners. We have partners who actually ship TV sets with a satellite tuner built in. And so with the TV input framework, they can integrate these hardware tuners with a standard API, and no matter what they change underneath, the application layer always stays the same. Their TV app always stays the same. They don't have to modify that. They just change the hardware layer, the tuner layer underneath it. For consumers, this is really interesting because a lot of consumers, I know we here, especially at I/O, we love apps. We love to download apps and use a lot of them. But a lot of users really like just to sit down on the sofa, flip through the program guide, use channel up, channel down. They don't want to jump through 5 different apps to get to the one content they want. They actually really like that the concept of navigation, of approaching content is exactly the same with every channel, no matter where the channel comes from. So we see lots of good feedback on that. And also then in the end, for app developers, it provides an additional new entry point to your content. Like I mentioned with the Play Movie trailer channel as an example. This is a live channel exposed by the Play Movies app, so it just shows trailers. But with our concept of app linking, they have an entry point. The user can click, oh, I now want to jump into the app and rent that content. So that gives you users who are traditionally maybe not app users, who would not launch a lot of apps, that are just the majority of time sitting in the program guide, using channel up, channel down, and that's how they approach content. So for these kind of users, this is a new way you can bring your app, your content to them. And we actually, we work with a bunch of partners. We had I was just talking last week with the developers from the app I just showed, Haystack, who are, and they are exposing, with their last app update, they exposed live channels. And they said that within the first month of them adding the live channel functionality, it's already driving over 10% of watch time across all users that they have on Android TV, and 16% for new users. So it is definitely a great new entry point for consumers to consume that content. Also, because I get asked a lot of times, well, live channels, is Google really doing something about that or not? So we are continuously investing into the TV Input Framework and the Live Channels app. We originally started with Android Lollipop when we introduced the TV Input Framework in its very basic form. With Marshmallow, we got a lot of feedback from partners and addressed a lot of smaller issues under the cover polish. We introduced time-shifting APIs already back in Android M. And now with the upcoming Android N, we're adding more features to the TV Input Framework, like the recording functionality where application developers can use TV Input Framework APIs to manage their recordings. And so also to come back, because a lot of people ask, well, especially application developer who come from mobile, is live TV watching, is like this program guide, these channels, that's an old thing, right? Like who does that anymore? So this is from the last Nielsen report, their total audience report they do once a year. This is from 2015, and it shows even in households with connected TVs or TVs that have devices connected to the internet so they can watch OTT content from the internet, the majority of watch time, like really a lot of the watch time, is still traditional live TV. So this is a big audience, and we think you as application developer really should capture that audience, and that's why we provide the TV Input Framework. And also, the examples I showed earlier in the demo are from the US, and these are like signal channels and interest channels exported by certain apps. We also have some great examples, for example, in Europe. We have a partner there, Zattoo, who they offer a whole cable channel lineup over as OTT channels. And they have their app around on mobile for a while. They brought it to Android TV and other TV platforms. And they integrated with the TV Input Framework. So basically, you install that, and with your subscription, you have all your cable channels on your Android TV device in the Live Channels app. And as I mentioned before, what's really great is it gives you also the ability to drive users from the live TV experience, from the Live Channels experience into your app. You see on the lower side here, this Zattoo icon. This is our app linking functionality in the Live Channels app, where the user easily can jump into the app and get more content. For example, on-demand archives that your app is providing, or additional functionality that is not exposed via the Live Channels app. But to talk a little bit more about the actual real stuff, the developer stuff that happens underneath, I'm handing over to Jay.
Hi, I'm Jay. So you just heard a lot of good things about the TV Input Framework. Now, you might wonder, what exactly is the TV Input Framework? Okay, that's what I'm going to explain to you. First, let me briefly talk about the overall architecture of the TV Input Framework to help you better understand the rest of this stuff. Let's just start with the data path. When we say data in the TV Input Framework, we're talking about channel and program metadata that describe TV channels and programs, such as channel numbers, cosigns, channel logos, program titles, start and end times of each program, and so on. On the top left of the diagram is the app called Live Channels, which is an Android app that people use every day for watching live TV. We sometimes call it a TV player app, just like media player, because it plays whatever TV content the user wants. One thing to note here is that the Live Channels app is Google's reference implementation of TV player, and TV OEMs have freedom to choose their own implementation, just like the dialer apps on phones. So the Live Channels app doesn't have any actual TV contents. Where do they come from? They come from the channel apps on the top right. Then how is the data passed? How does the Live Channels app know all the channel and program information? It's easy. Channel apps put their own channel and program data into the system database, and the Live Channels app reads them from there. Next, let's talk about the control path. When the user tunes to a channel through the Live Channels app, and it happens to be one of the channels that your channel app provides, we call you and say, please play channel XYZ. and we expect you to start playback of the live content on that channel. Technically, we give you an Android Surface object on which you can render your video. Once you tell us the video is ready, we take the surface and we draw some overlays if necessary, such as channel banner, and we show it to the user. That's it, simple. You can find the actual APIs included in the live TV input framework under the package name android.media.tv. There are many classes, a bunch of methods, callbacks, constants, and so on. But what you should remember as a channel app developer are just two Java classes, TV contract and TV input service. TV contract is the class that defines channel and program columns for the system database. And the TV input service is the class that you need to implement in order to provide TV channels on Android TV. Before we talk about how you can start integrating your app with the TV input framework, let me clarify one thing. When you look at the TV input framework APIs in more detail, you'll be surprised to see there are just Java interfaces and the business logic is not actually there. Huh? Let me tell you, we're launching the new TV recording APIs in the TV input framework this year, and the most questions we get are like, where is the actual recording happening? Where do you schedule recordings? Where do you handle resource conflicts? Something like that. The answer to all of those questions is that it's in either live channels or individual TV input services. Why is that? Why did we make such a decision? That's because when we first designed the framework, we really wanted to be flexible in terms of updating our offering. It's easy for app developers to update things themselves instead of relying on the system update. By unbundling the business logic from the Android platform and putting it into live channels or delegating to TV input services, we are able to push any new update at any time. Okay, let's talk about how you can start integrating with the TV input framework. The first thing you should do is take a look at the code samples, of course. We highly recommend to use Android Studio. When you run Android Studio, in the very first screen, you can import samples. You just type TV, and you see two samples we provide under Android TV. And the one with the title, Sample TV Channel App using TV Input Framework. That's the one you need. Import that sample, and you're ready to go. And this is the optimal development flow, we think. Once you have the code sample, you can start changing resources, such as XML files, strings, and images, in addition to the package name. Yes, don't forget to change the package name. You can't be working for the company named Example. Once you're done with the resources, then you can build a sample and claim it yours. That's it. Of course, you need to provide detailed descriptions of your channels, programs, including the UIs for your live videos, but you're not even touching the code. It's that simple. But maybe there might be some other reasons that you must modify the code. For example, if you just can't use XO Player in the sample for video playback, then you should replace it with your in-house media playback engine. Or maybe you just hate our code and want to rewrite it, which is totally normal. Then please go ahead and modify the code. Lastly, if you already have your Android TV app, then you can simply add the TV input service sample here to your existing app by simply declaring the service in your Android manifest file. And you're all set. So we've just skimmed through the very basics of the TV input framework. I'll hand over to Ibrahim for more technical details and advanced features.
All right. Thanks, Jay. So far, we covered the background and history of Android TV, live channels, and TV input framework. Sasha gave the motivations of building such applications from the user, developers, and hardware developers, hardware OEM, the original equipment manufacturers' perspectives. And Jay gave a technical overview of the TV input framework. So now it's time actually looking at how we implement this live channel. it's really important that you start with the sample. It's an actual full application. It actually builds, and you can install it on your device, and will start running the moment you actually click on the Live Channels application. That happens because you define your in your application. You define in your manifest. You say that I have this service, and it's going to be read by the Live Channels application to show up this page. Here, the first time you launch the Live Applications page you'll see the available sources in your device. By default, most of the Nexus devices come up with the Google Play Movies and TV application, Live Channel source. The second one is our rich input, which is our sample. Once you click on one of them, it runs a special activity that sets up the necessary metadata that's read by TV input framework. And then your channel is ready and you will start to get up and running. So this is the manifest part that you need to add into your application. The important thing is you need to create a service that extends from TV input service. You need to add an intent filter called android.media.tv input service. The other information that you need to provide is this metadata called android.media.tv.input. It's an XML file, and in it you have to tell the input framework which activity to run when the user tries to set up a source. If you look at this sample application, the sample activity here, this is really simple. There's no UI involved. The only thing that you have is basically you just need to set up the sources. The thing that you need to know here is TV Input Framework exposes all its metadata, channel data with a content provider. And as Jane mentioned before, TV Contract is a basic database that contains everything like poster data, channel information, the program information that you fill in. And basically once you populate those information, you just need to put it into the content provider. So if you look at this file, what we do is basically create a content values object. And then at the input ID, the name of your channel, the display number, then just get the content resolver and then just push it in. Another thing is you don't have to have separate applications if you have multiple channels. Just like we saw in the haystack example, once you click and create this activity, when it runs, you can just repeat this thing a few times, how many channels you have, and then all of them will be available for viewing for the users. Of course, this example does not contain any UI, but if you think that you're doing a lot of processing in this file, you can show a nice logo screen that you use, and then let your users know that you're doing something while the channels are being set up. The next thing is the life cycle of the TV input service that you're implementing. Everything starts with the launch of Live Channels application. So the main activities on create method is run, and at some point the onset surface method is called, which sets the surface that your media player is going to use for showing the video. At some point, if there are already some sources set up, it's going to try to tune to one of those channels. Those light blue boxes are the things that you are responsible for. The first one is the on-tune method. The on-tune method is where you get the channel URI that you need to tune to, and then you need to get the channel information. It's just a URI. Then you need to get where the video is going to be played from, if you have any captions, what is the title of the channel. You're going to get it from the database that you're using. It can be content provider, it can be some other database, or you can just get it from the web. Then you need to check if your program is still available. By available, I mean if it's still available for viewing, if the media is available, or it can be blocked. So you may have some age-restricted content. So it is possible that the media controls, parental controls are set up, and it's not really suitable for the user to view. If everything is good, then you need to create your media player object. You set it up with the video link, the captions, and tell the media player that this is the surface that you need to show the video to. And the on-tune method will be almost done. The next thing is, since your responsibility is over, you need to tell the system what to do next. So we provide in TV input framework some methods that start with notify. So some examples are notify video available, for example. You need to call this when everything is good. So you have the program, everything is running, your media player is running, and you prepared everything. The next thing is just telling the TV input framework, okay, I'm ready, just show it to the user. Other stuff like age-restricted content was another example. You can't show this to the user. So you need to tell the system that, hey, my content is blocked, I can't show it to the user, please handle it. And you say, notify content blocked, TV input framework takes this command and shows the parental controls dialog, the lock, so that the user can either unlock the screen or switch to another channel. And this is the life cycle of the live channels. Of course, there's one more thing, the on-release method. That's where you need to be a good citizen and clear out any resources that you may be using. So this is a sample TV input service implementation. As I told you, it's the on-tune method that you need to override. You get the channel URI, get your source somehow from content provider database, and then the rest is basically media player specific. The sample code that we provide comes with Exoplayer. Everything is already set up. You can just use this. You may choose to use other sources depending on your content. You may actually ship your own media player. Then you need to change this place and set it up appropriately. And once everything is done, you need to call one of the notify methods so that TV input framework takes over. This is the basic things that you need to get a channel up and running. We actually have more than that. We have advanced features such as the overlay view and the app linking card and the now playing card actually.
18 miles per hour at cruise altitude, 37,000 feet, when something went terribly wrong. The Greek government says military radar detected the plane making an abrupt 90-degree turn to the left, then flying.
TV channel. So basically, this live channel is an endless stream of trailers that you can rent or buy from Google Play Movies.
Witches live among us.
So we have lots of trailers here. This is the last Witch Hunter. And this is also, these videos are available in other sources like YouTube, right? What we show here is the name of the movie, the year, the length, the content, the current rating of the movie, and the current price to rent it from Google Play Movies. You can achieve the same thing by embedding this information right into the video, right? And that will make the same effect. But the thing here is, this is actually dynamic content, right? So your users will watch this movie, they may add their rating, they go up or down, or you may have a discount. Like tomorrow it could be $2.99, right? If you do embed this into the video, that's going to create another hassle. It means that you have to reprocess this video, change the source, and do it again and again and something changes. What we provide here is an overlay view. So you can use this view to overlay any kind of information on top of the video.
You know what I'm afraid of?
One of our partners actually use this really cleverly. They're one of the weather providers. They use this screen to show the local weather information for users' location. They get the local location information from Android, and then put the next 3 days weather information, no matter what they're showing currently on screen. The other thing is, this actually happens if I just click on the center button. Sasha talked about this. This is the app linking card. It is the most powerful thing that you can do to add interactivity to your live channels. So it basically gives you a chance to run any Android intent upon click. And you can also customize this badge, right? You can change so it changed actually, we moved to another element here. So now it's showing the Zoolander, it changed the icon, it changed the poster image, and it actually shows the information to, the price information to buy this from Google Play. And upon click, it's going to just take you to the companion application. And if I like this movie, I said, okay, I want to look at more information and I want to see what this is about. And I can just here now buy or rent and start watching right away. So it's a great place to add interactivity to your live channels application. And finally, upon click with the home button, you can go to home screen. Sometimes you need to do something else with your TV. By default, live channels come with Now Playing card, and you can change the logo, you can change the title of this Now Playing card, and the click takes you back to the live channel.
Gentlemen, 14 years ago to this very night, I lost.
Now let's talk about the implementation of these. Adding overlay view is quite simple. The only thing that you need to do is, the first thing that you need to do is basically in on create session, you need to tell TV Input Framework that your session has an overlay view with set overlay view enabled true, and then you need to override the on create overlay view. You inflate a view here and just return it. If you keep a handle to the view, you can just use this in the later stages throughout the life cycle of your service and dynamically change the information that's shown on the overlay. The other one is the app linking badge. It's completely in your control. You can change the color, you can change the poster, the text, the card color, and your icon. And this is really simple. You just need to fill in the app_link columns when you're when you are setting up your channel, and we will automatically show this app badge with this information. And as I told you earlier, Now Playing card is completely automatic. Before I finish, I want to talk about how to reach your TV audience. There are two ways of achieving this. The first one is basically using the Google Play Store. It's the default way of getting more channels, more applications for your Android devices and your Android TV. Basically, if you have an application, already have an application, just as Jay said, just add this service into your existing application and update your APK, and that's going to be available in the Live Channels application to be downloaded. Or if you don't have one, create a new listing and upload your APK, and that's going to be available for your users to use. Or the other way is, we've seen this with lots of our partners. They work together with OEMs, hardware manufacturers, like TV manufacturers, the player manufacturers, set-top box manufacturers, and they bundle their application with the device itself. So it creates an out-of-box experience for those devices. Like you may be the default weather provider for this TV set, for example. Thank you for listening to us. Our talk is over. Please visit our sandbox in Zone A. We want to talk to you. Our PMs and our engineers want to talk to you and get your opinion about Android TV and want to learn about your use cases. We also have resources on web. We have the G+ community at g.co/AndroidTVDev, where you can ask and answer questions and join the community. We have training in developer.android.com/training for building TV channels. And finally, our sample application is hosted at GitHub.